Registering a limited liability partnership can be such a complex process, and it is so easy for a lot of people to make some of these common mistakes along the way when they're looking to actually register their company as a limited liability partnership. Now, it's important that all the necessary steps are followed through so that your LLP can be registered without any unnecessary delays, fines, and even potential legal issues. So in this video, I'm going to be running you through some of the most common mistakes I tend to see a lot of business owners making when they are trying to register a limited liability partnership here in the UK. Hello, if this is your first time here, my name is Tess and I'm a UK-based qualified accountant, and on this channel I share weekly videos to help fellow entrepreneurs grow and thrive in their businesses. If you'd like to see more videos from this channel, please do make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe and turn on your notification bell. First common mistake I see a lot of business owners making is not choosing an appropriate name. Now, whatever name that you're going to choose for your LLP needs to be unique, as well as also unique. The name that you're going to choose also needs to not infringe on any existing trademark or copyright laws. Okay, so it's very important that you conduct a thorough research to ensure that the name that you're choosing is both appropriate, unique, and doesn't have any existing trademark or copyright against it. Now, ideally, you should always avoid choosing an LLP name that closely resembles an existing business name, particularly if it's in the same industry or sector, as this could easily lead to legal disputes along the way. Now, the second common mistake I see a lot of business owners making is having an incomplete documentation. Now, there is a specific document that you need to fill out when you're registering an LLP business here in the UK. But it is also very important that when you're filling it out, you ensure that it is accurate, you ensure that it is complete, and you ensure that it has been signed by all the relevant designated signatories that need to have their signatures present on that documentation. Now, I already have a detailed video on the process of registering an LLP in the UK, so do make sure you watch that video after you watch this one. One thing I must bring to your attention is the fact that if your LLP documentation is incomplete, then this will potentially lead to delays. It can even lead to your LLP being rejected by Companies House. Okay, so it's very, very important that you read through the relevant documentation, you ensure that all the relevant information that needs to be on that form is thoroughly complete and is also accurate. Now, the next common mistake I see a lot of business owners making when they're trying to register their business as a limited liability partnership in the UK is failing to have the relevant number of designated partners. Now, when you're registering an LLP, you need a minimum of 2 designated partners, okay, in order for you to actually be able to register your business as an LLP. Now, if you don't have the relevant number of designated partners, this can definitely lead to your LLP being rejected or not approved. So it's very important that prior to you registering your business as a limited liability partnership here in the UK, you ensure that you have at least the minimum number of designated partners, which is 2, okay? If you don't have that, then I'm afraid you're not going to be able to actually register your business as a limited liability partnership. The next common mistake I see so many business owners making when registering a limited liability partnership here in the UK is not choosing an appropriate business activity. So the type of business activity that you're going to use to register your LLP under needs to be appropriate for this type of legal structure. Now, some of the most common types of business activities that typically would get registered under an LLP includes, but is not limited to, accountancy firms, law firms, and also dental surgeries. So do think about the type of business activity that you're thinking of registering and think about whether or not it is actually appropriate for this particular legal structure. And the next mistake you definitely want to avoid when you're looking to register your business as a limited liability partnership is to ensure that you have a members agreement. Okay, now this is not a legal requirement as such, but it is very, very helpful and certainly recommended to always have in place what is called a members agreement. This kind of agreement will help you actually have in place a way in which you can resolve any potential disputes between your members when they arise in the future. And some of the information you might want to consider having on your members agreement will include how exactly are you going to distribute profits amongst each of your different members? What are the specific roles and responsibilities for each of your different members within the limited liability partnership? And also another thing to think about is the joining and exit process of members. Next common mistake I see so many business owners making when they're trying to register a limited liability partnership in the UK is failing to actually have in place a separate business bank account. Okay, so just like when you're actually registering a limited company, you do need to factor in how you're actually going to keep your finances separate from your personal one. So your limited liability partnership is actually a legal entity. So by law, actually, it should, in theory, have its own separate business bank account where you're able to track the financial records of that particular partnership, okay? And this should definitely be separate from your personal bank account. So these are just some of the things I thought I would share with you to consider doing and thinking about before you actually go ahead to register your limited liability partnership. If you're interested in registering your limited liability partnership, I do have a detailed video where I've gone through the process in a lot more depth that I think will be very helpful to those who are looking to register a limited liability partnership here in the UK. I'll be sure to leave that video linked somewhere up here and also down in the description box. If you've enjoyed this video, please do make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.